Hello there. Welcome once again to Talk and Fight and the Scoop on Talk and Fight. I hope you're having a great evening. We certainly are. It's certainly been an interesting one for a start. I don't think we've never had that many people join us at once, so we had to sort out a little bit of an issue there. But we're glad that our guest now is waiting in the green room comfortably and waiting to join us. And as soon as he does join us, I will have to bid adieu. I have to jump onto another important phone call. Sorry to let you go, but you guys can handle it on your own, I'm sure. So once again, welcome Talk and Fight Nation. Welcome to the Scoop, and let's go, champ. What do you got?
So we got quite the character today. He's, to me, I always saw him as a big brother in the sense that when I first walked into the gym, he was there. He was one of the iconic guys in the gym. He is a former national team champion, former Canadian champion, one of the oldest Canadian champions. Also actually won a world title. Good day. My name is Bola Ray. This is The Scoop. So today, I am pleased to bring on board my good friend, Fitz the Whip Vanderpool. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Ray. Thanks for having me on your show. This is an honor, man.
No, the honor's ours, man. I'm doing a week on great coaches and great athletes. It's a no-brainer. You had to be involved.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's exciting.
A little intro into the world of Fitz. How did you get started into boxing?
Well, actually, my father started me and my brothers into boxing. I got 4 other brothers, and we all boxed. But my father got us started into boxing because my oldest brother was a skinny guy, was getting picked on at school. So, my pop said, I'm gonna get you into boxing to learn how to defend yourself. So we ended up going down to the Waterloo Police Boxing Academy, and the sergeant there was running the boxing program. A sergeant, figure that, just like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
The sergeant taught him too. So, we started learning how to box there, and, it just kept going on from there,
Man, you guys, I'm doing a future show on boxing families and what made them great. And I assume that there's been other boxing families out there, but there's some boxing families that just seem to achieve greatness. Like there's just a great deal of success within the family. And like the Vanderpools are definitely one of them. We've spoken to Fitz. I want to find the one they call Felix. And then he got you. So now with that, he talked to us. Sid's told us quite a bit. But with that being said, you could tell us, how was it growing up, being in a boxing family every weekend, going out training, competing together, the whole 9 yards of camaraderie? Did it make you better having your younger brother Ian or your older brother Keith training alongside of you?
Yeah, for each individual situation is how you look at it, right? But for myself, I always want to push myself to be better than the next person. And then also when I got to that point, I had to push myself to be better, the best I could be. So, having your brothers around you, yeah, it was great because, you always want to work harder than them, outwork them, outperform them, outshine them. It's competition, right? So you just want to be the best you can be.
When you say the competition, like you guys aren't that far apart in age. Would you spar? I don't think you guys would have competed against each other, but would you have sparred?
We did spar, and actually at one point, Sid and I were both the same weight. When we came back in 1991, we were both the same weight.
Oh, wow.
So we had to decide who was going to go up and who was going to stay down. And because he was young and growing, I just let him go up weight class.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Right. It was only natural because I was already at this weight. I was at the same weight for like last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And he grew to that weight. And then we just said, only makes sense. He just keeps going up, go to the next weight class. Right. And that's how it happened.
Fair enough. You turned pro before the '94 Olympic Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I was trying for the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, Spain.
Yeah.
And I came up short of that. I mean, I lost to the champion, Mark Leduc. And I actually won the first fight for the Olympic trials. I won the first fight. And then they said I had to beat the champion, had to beat the challenger twice. I was the only champion to beat a challenger. So that means I had to fight the next day. So I fought the second day, and they gave Mark the fight because they've been grooming him for the last 4 years on the national team. He'd been traveling all over the world representing Canada. And also you got this kid comes out of nowhere and beats him, right? So they're like, well, we're not going to send this kid. He hasn't been groomed for the last 4 years. So anyways, Mark won the second fight. He went on to the Olympics. He ended up winning a silver medal. He won a silver medal for Canada. And I was, wow, and it's interesting because the media came back and they said to me, they said, Fitz, how do you feel about Mark winning a silver medal for Canada? And I said, well, you know what? If Canada is happy with the silver medal, I'm happy for Canada. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to dip out of here and go into the pros and, fight for what I got to fight for.
Good for you. Good for you. And was the transition from pros, from amateurs to pro difficult for you?
For myself, it wasn't. I mean, because, we went from 4 rounds in increments of 2 to 6 rounds to 8 rounds to 10 rounds. Myself, I was always in great shape. I was always up for the challenge. So it wasn't that difficult, I think, for me. I mean, when I got to 10 rounds, I fought for a title fight at 10 rounds, started fighting for titles at 12 rounds. When I came halfway through the fight, like to the round 6, I knew where I had to pace myself, had to do things to keep the round going so I'd win the round, but still make sure I had enough energy to go on for the other half of the fight. And I trained in such a way that I was able to condition myself that I knew when I got to that 6th round, round 7, 8, and then pick it up 9, 10, 11, finish strong for round 12, right? That's where, they say the championship rounds are rounds 11 and 12. That's where champions are made, because most guys will be fading out, because they're getting tired. It's 10, 11 rounds, right? They're getting tired. But a champion knows that that's where he's got to drive and he's got to push himself through to give everything if he wants what he calls a championship belt.
That's amazing. I was there the first time you won the Canadian title. I remember that. And we were training together at that time. It was at Bill Longmire's gym.
I was going to say, I remember you down there. I seen a big guy down in the down in the basement there. Yeah.
In the basement. Yeah. No, that's where I started. So I remember that fondly because I genuinely loved Bill. Like, he was a great man. Yeah. He was a great man.
He was a good man.
How did your world change after winning that first Canadian title?
Well, it changed in terms of I mean, it didn't change in any financial way, but what it did change was it changed my attitude and the way I worked towards getting things done, because I was at a point where I was fighting a guy who was 13 and 0 with 10 knockouts. He was knocking everybody out, and here I am just getting knocked out the fight before, getting offered to fight him. And I know they were setting me up. They wanted me to get knocked out. That's what they wanted. But I flipped that script.
Whoops.
Huh?
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I flipped that script. I said, I trained so hard, and I knew that I was not going to lose that fight.
Who was that against?
Yeah.
Who was that against?
That was against Tony the Bad Boy Badia from Edmonton. And I worked hard for that fight. In the first round, it showed what I was made of, because he caught me with a left hook in the first round. Like, this guy could punch with both hands. He had power in both hands. He caught me with a left hook, clipped me, boom. I went flying back into the ropes, came bouncing out. Referee stepped in, gave me an 8 count. And I'm praying the whole time. I said, Lord, you got to let me win this fight. I got to come back and win this fight, because I told everybody back home in Kitchener that I was going to bring this belt back. And it was going to be the first belt ever brought back to the Tri-Cities. And I said, you know what? I told people that. I said, I got to do what I said.
That's awesome.
So I promised him that. So I came back out. I fought on. 3rd round, 4th round. Finally, in the 6th round, I come with the whip. Caught the whip. Went flying back. I jumped on. I had him up against the ropes. He's all one mess, hands down. boom, referee stepped in, stopped the fight, saved him from getting any more punishment. And yeah, you know, I won the fight, man. I was excited. I was like, you know what? I believed in myself so much that I willed it.
I remember you sparring with Peter Fear.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
You're ready for that? Wow. As a heavyweight, and granted, I was green as hell, but I remember looking, going, "Yeah, that's gonna hurt. that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt a lot."
Yeah, there's some wicked shots.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Your career went on, and you then made the choice to retire for whatever reason. But it wasn't to be forever. You end up coming back. And you had the most beautiful cornerman of all time. The most... It was poetry to see the two together. You and that, who was that corner man? Who
it was Big Ray.
Oh, you right.
You know, you know, hey, you know, things have a way of working themselves out. It was just, you know what? Yeah, you were in my corner for that fight. You know, you were one of my guys helping me in the corner, and I didn't want to make you work too hard that fight. You know what? I didn't want you to work too hard.
Thank you so much. That was a great night for boxing for me. That was my second time it's my second of 2 times in the corner as a head coach, and I got 2 wins. So it was a great night. And you fought a strong, a capable Phil Rose. That was no joke, and won. That was no joke. Well
after
done.
Coming back from how many years off? You know, I came back from over 6 years off.
How old were you?
Wow, I was 44.
No, you're older than that.
When I came back and won it, because he was 15 years younger than me.
Okay, so this was in 2015.
Yeah, no, it was 2013. Because when I won the title in 2014, I was 45. I became the oldest Canadian champion at 45, succeeding George Chuvalo.
But and what year was that?
That was in 2014.
You were 45?
When I became the oldest. Yeah.
In 2014, so you're in 2014. Weren't you born in 67?
I certainly was. No, you got me doing some math. What are you trying to do to me?
Then you need to do the math. That puts you at 46, my man. 2014 actually puts you at 47.
See, that's why I look so young. Stop it. Oh, snap. Okay, one more, then I'm older than I thought.
Sorry.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, it's just a number, man. It's just a number.
That's the honest to goodness truth. That's an honest to goodness truth. But it was a great night of boxing. It was a great night. History, Canadian history for that matter. You coming back, and especially when you end up coming back and winning the Canadian title. Now, with that being said, you finally packed it in for good, but you haven't left boxing, thank God. And you are giving back to the community up in Waterloo there, or Kitchener? Kitchener,
Waterloo, yeah.
Yeah, giving back to the community, bringing up the next generation of warriors. And I'd like to think that you are proliferating the legacy of Arnie Beam.
Legacy of Arnie Beam. My coach Joe Hashno, who took me through all these professional championship belts. You know what? I mean, I have both of them in my gym. Both their pictures up in the gym, so my young fighters get to see these two guys, know why I do what I do and what I've learned. I've learned. I mean, from boxing, it's more than just fighting in the ring. You know, it taught me life lessons and life skills, and these are what I try to teach back to my young students. They come in the gym. Everybody says, they want to be a boxing champion. Da, da, da. I'm like, that's great. I said, you know what? If you don't become a boxing champion, that's fine by me. But I want to make sure I teach you life lessons and life skills, things that you will carry with you all the days of your life.
That's amazing.
After boxing.
You're using boxing as a vessel to educate the kids. That's it. That's all. That's impressive. That's impressive. You have how long has your gym been around?
We've been 18 years. Actually, you know what? We just hit 18 years.
2001.
Hey, you're pretty good at math.
I got my socks off, so I use my toes to count quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Now,
but hold on a sec. I think you just gave me the wrong number. If I said correct, I just let you go with it. I let you go. I gave you a bye. You said 01.
Yeah.
I said 18 years.
This is 2021. If it was
2003 would be 18 years.
1,000 pardons, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. We're even.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
What happened there?
I bet you would have.
What's that?
No, our producer is like, I was just about to say something. Everybody's waiting, just waiting for me to mess up. Oh, so they could jump on that gravy train and say, "I told you so." Yeah.
So where'd he go? Where'd my face go?
No, you're still there. You're still there.
Oh, you see me? Okay, I can't, but that's okay. That's all right.
That's all good. You have do you train fighters? You have up and coming champions coming out?
Well, because of this COVID, it's made things difficult, right? So I'm waiting, but I've got some prospects right now that are in the wings, waiting until we can start working again, right? So once we can do that and get to that, once we do that and get to that point, we'll be good, So I really want this COVID to stop so we can get back to doing what we got to do.
We need normalcy. We have to get back to normalcy. I totally agree.
Some sort of normalcy, right? Some sort,
yeah. Because this madness has impacted society in ways that you just can't even. I never thought that depression would be on the rise.
Yeah.
Right. People need to go out. And people need social interactions and stuff like that. Like at the end of the day, this has to stop.
Absolutely.
We have, how many belts do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. Let me take off my socks here. 1 sec. 6.
What were they? You got the Canadian title twice.
Well, okay. So I got the Canadian and the World Boxing Federation Intercontinental, World Boxing Council Caribbean, World Boxing Federation World Championship, World Boxing Council Fecker Box Championship, and then is that 5 or 4? 6. And then the National Boxing Authority Canadian title. That's 6, right?
Yeah. Well, the WBC. Did you win the WBC World?
Yeah. No. So no, I have the WBC Fecker Box and the WBC Caribbean. Okay.
What was your world title?
WBF, World Boxing Federation.
Gotcha. That's a big title because George Foreman had that title.
Yeah, I think George had it. Roy Jones had it. And actually, one of the guys that Roy Jones fought is the guy that I beat for that title. And he actually ended up going into a coma and passing away, unfortunately. But
wow.
Yeah, that was a tough because when I won, I knocked him out in the 11th round. And then they ended up carrying him off to the hospital in a stretcher. And he was supposed to have a suspension for 90 days. And he went back into the ring 30 days later and fought again, easy fight. Then he fought again a second fight a little later for a title, and he got knocked into a coma again in the 11th round, or he got knocked out again in the 11th round, went into a coma and passed away.
Wow.
So yeah, it's this sport we live in is a tough one. It's dangerous.
It's only like there's things that could have been done to save him. I did go on that in the past. At the end of the day, so much needs to happen to make the sport not just safer, but better. Just better. That was my next question. How would you like to see both amateur and professional, the sport of boxing improve?
How would I like to see it improve?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be good if we can get better funding for the athletes to help them train to get ready for these big competitions, so we can fare better against in the Olympics.
Yep.
It'd be better if we had better funding from the government for the sport of boxing to help our athletes so get better prepared to compete at the national, international levels.
Okay. That has been a common statement. I've asked several people the exact thing, and that's funding is necessary. And it's unfortunate because other countries, they fund their athletes. Like, I can't speak from the standpoint of boxing, but I remember a stat where Australia was paying their swimmers. This is when we had one of the top swimmers in the world, but the 10th ranked swimmer was making more than our #1 world champion.
Right.
Funding. Also, like, granted, I'm going back a ways. We're talking, I think it was the 96. I think it was the 96 Olympics. Because I was in track and field at the time. And we had, in the Summer Olympic Games, we had amassed the most medals we had ever amassed. And Chrétien said, well, you see, this is an example of the government's commitment to the excellence of our athletes via funding. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, you win a gold medal then, it was $15,000 in your pocket. Silver was 10, bronze was 5. You might tell me, how long would $15,000, and this is a gold medal.
Yeah.
How long would that last for your preparation to anything?
Yeah.
Right? A lot needs to be done. That's
ridiculous. I mean, because other countries would be giving you houses and setting you up.
Precisely.
It takes years.
Precisely.
It takes years.
You need to be able to concentrate on your training as opposed to working a side gig. This is my big issue when it came to the professionals. As a pro, for most of my career, I had to work.
Right.
I had to work while fighting. So then, am I really a pro?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, NBA players aren't working a side gig. NFL players aren't working a side gig. Baseball, hockey. So why are professional boxers going off and having to work a side gig to stay afloat, waiting for fights to happen?
Yeah. No, it's not as easy as people think it is. They don't realize that there are many of us who don't have managers, promoters, financial backing. We have to do all this stuff ourselves. And for me, I was glad to make it to the promised land, having had to do it by myself. And I'm going to continue to pass on to other young ones coming up that they can do it too, and I'm going to let them know how it can be done.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Fitz, I want to thank you so much for coming on and dropping some knowledge. What's the name of your school?
It's the Whip Boxing and Fitness.
That's awesome. I want to thank you for coming on. At the end of the day, this is your boy, and this was the scoop. If you like this episode, please smash the like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Fitz, thanks again.
Thanks, Bola Ray. Appreciate it, man.
Cheers.
Peace out, bro. All right,
Cheers.
all the best. Stay safe.